Hello and welcome to Palace Fan TV for Jim and Jay's final say. Combined video for Villa and Man City. Two defeats for both. No goals scored, 5 conceded. So this won't be the most uplifting Jim and Jay's video. I might try and make it quite a swift one though, because I don't want to talk too much about Palace not winning games. We've done them together because the Villa game was a midweek, so we thought we'd pack these two together. And in fact, actually, that saves you having two videos to watch, both about Palace defeats. So there we go. We're going to put it into one depressing video. I'll start with the Man City game, actually, because it was the most recent one. Palace lost 4-0. Aguero got 2 and got an assist and was very good. But actually, it doesn't really tell the full story because Palace were actually pretty good. And I know that sounds weird to say after a 4-0 defeat, but they started the game very brightly, much like the Chelsea game actually at home a few weeks ago, but couldn't score. And then once the first goal goes in against the big teams, Chelsea and Man City recently, that almost seems to kind of be it at the moment, which is a shame because before the first goal, Palace played quite well, had the first real chance of the game, a header from Delaney, which Hart did very well to save, and which is in like the first minute. Another day, if that goes in, it changes the whole complexion of the game, and suddenly Palace have got something to play for. Even at the end of the first half, with Palace 1-0 down, Cabaye has a free kick, which I think actually maybe it was 2-0. Cabaye has a free kick, which Hart again does brilliant to get across his goal and save. That goes in, it's a slightly different story, but it seems really that even though Palace are not playing that badly, or didn't do at Man City, Villa we'll get to in a minute, things aren't quite going their way. These are chances that in other games might go in. And then you've got Hennessy, perhaps maybe should have done better for the first goal from Delph. Sort of goes under his body. In other days he deals with that fine. It seems at the moment that everything's that could go wrong is going wrong for Palace in terms of decisions players make, the injuries we're getting here and there in the squad, loss of form of certain players. It's just all coming together at the same time, and unfortunately that means that you end up going through a bit of a slump, and we've now gone 5 games without scoring, 5 games without a win. But actually Palace weren't, second half really was mostly City, but it started off Palace weren't too bad at all, and there was a lot of bright sparks. Wilf had a good game and looked like Palace's most threatening player. It was a good performance from Wilf. Johan missed a few passes, but still did okay. So it was better than Tuesday against Villa, but that wasn't very difficult. That was a real sort of off day for Palace. It was not a very good performance. Villa actually played very well. I thought it was the sort of performance that made you think, hang on, why are they bottom? Because they pressed Palace from the front. They moved the ball quickly. They were neat and tidy. They were a real threat, and not the team I was expecting at all, given where they are in the league and all this press coverage about them being one of the worst ever Premier League teams. I thought they were quite good. I don't think they'll stay up. I don't think they're as bad as people make them out to be. Palace had a bit of an off day where it just wasn't really working. Few players sort of hitting a bad run of form at the same time. A lot of misplaced passes. The goal against Villa came from Hennessy, threw it out, and it wasn't quite on target to punch. And it went to Villa, and they poured forward, and then got a corner. And of course, from the corner, Hennessy goes to grab it and spills it. It's one of these things that any other day he grabs that absolutely fine. He's not a bad goalkeeper at all. He'll grab that, and it will be safe. But this time he drops it. It's a drizzly day, skiddy surface, and it goes in off his heel. So it's just the last couple of games. There's been so many things coming together that maybe in the start of the season we've got away with, or have been masked by good individual performances, or not that many injuries. Now it's all coming together, and it's a real time for us to I don't know, get together and try and get through it. Spurs at home next game is going to be very difficult. But Palace can still get something from it. We're still a good side, but you kind of feel if we get through that one, we then got games coming up where if we can get our injured players back, Yannick's still out for a few weeks, but I don't know. We're going through a bit of a bad patch, but hey, we could be doing a lot worse. We're still in the top half. We're still going to be all right, barring some horrible capitulation. Hopefully maybe see another new striker or a couple of strikers come in this window. It's going to be a tough month, I think, January, but we get through it together. We're still a decent team, decent squad. Fans are still on side, and I think hopefully we'll do that and we'll be alright rest of the season. I'd say a couple of plus points though. Certainly one for me is that Damien Delaney still is putting in good performances. His game at Villa was sort of hit and miss. He was sort of beaten in the air a few times by Kojak. But at the same time pulled off some amazing blocks. In fact, we did a very good block on the striker, which actually then led to the corner that the goal came from. But Damo is still playing very well. I thought he played quite well at City as well. He's continuing to just put in good performances, and he's always there with a last-minute block. And unfortunately, some previous games this season, that's been enough to get us out of a sticky situation. Unfortunately, last two games it hasn't been. But there's a lot for them to work on. But any team will have this. Any team has up and downs in the season, and we're going through our most difficult patch. But we'll come through it. We're a good team. We've got some great players. Wickham I thought looked okay today. A bit more run in the side, shake off this injury, and hopefully he can get back to what we know he can do for the team. And we'll get Yannick back, and hopefully we'll be more of a threat. So those are my thoughts on the Villa and Man City games. Not the most upbeat of video, I apologise, but hopefully we'll have better ones to review throughout the course of the season. So don't forget to subscribe, comment below with your thoughts, what went wrong, or who stood out for you in these Palace games. Who was your positive light in these games where the result hasn't quite been what we wanted. Here's Jay from the Eagles Speak with his thoughts on Villa and Man City game, and we will see you for the Spurs game next week. So cheers, thanks for watching, see you soon.
Hello guys, welcome back to Palace Fan TV, and we've got a treat for you this week. We have a double episode, so we're going to look back at two games which, as I talk, they're not the greatest games to be talking about in a double episode, but with a midweek game it's always difficult logistically to get these videos done, and for me and Jim to get them over to Palace Fan TV. So here we are. I'll start with the Villa game on Tuesday night, midweek performance. We travelled to bottom of the table Villa, as they were at a time, and Palace got beat. Villa haven't won a game since the start of the season. First game of the season, I believe it was. And they've been struggled ever since, and they've been rooted to the bottom of the table. Along come Palace, the next visitors to Villa Park, and 3 points are Villa's. It was a terrible performance, to be fair. Am I being fair to the players? Probably aren't going to be that fair to them as I talk. Hennessy made an absolute howler for the goal. And sometimes, when you look at Villa from Villa's perspective, it's a goal that could give them some sort of impetus going forward from there. Sometimes these teams, or a team, needs a bit of luck to get out of a real rut they're in, and Villa were in a rut. Off the back of a great FA Cup result for Palace at Southampton, we kind of let ourselves down at Villa. And it's disappointing to go to Villa. I think a lot of Palace fans kind of felt Villa might get the win, and as it turned out, you don't know these things are going to happen. I was hoping that we would show ourselves in a lot better light than we did. I will highlight Hennessy as obviously making a mistake, but he did make a couple of decent saves in the game as well. So you have to say the good things and the bad things just to weigh them out. Puncheon was awful again. He played well at Southampton. That is a kind of a one-off game. He was terrible against Villa. He was losing possession a lot. He was even moaning at his teammates when he lost possession. I don't know what he was moaning at, but he wasn't the only one. It was a team performance, and it was dire. And to be fair, I was expecting a reaction against City, and Man City are chasing for the title. Let's be honest. Not making excuses. City are a wealthy team, worth a lot more than we are, but we are classy enough to be able to go to City with our heads held high and get something from the game. The first half wasn't too bad, to be honest. 2 goals for City, I think, was probably harsh on us. We had the upper hand, early on in the game. Delaney had 2 great chances to score, and if one of those had gone in, when we're saying ifs and buts, I said the same against Chelsea. If we'd have taken lead when we had so much impetus in the game, didn't turn out that way, and we ended up being beaten 4-0 and not scoring a goal again. We started Wickham up front. We started with a striker. I didn't mention that at Villa we didn't start with a striker, as many of you will know. Sacco was a man who played the lone striker role, and for me, everyone's saying we're crying out for a striker, and we are. Charlie Austin signed for Southampton today for £4 million, which is an absolute steal. Obviously, Southampton are going to be paying a lot in wages for him because they can afford to, because they're not paying through the nose for him, and it's a great. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. He is injury prone, a bit like Connor Wickham as well. We've missed out. We move on. We obviously weren't interested, so we look elsewhere. But we do need that striker. I think Connor Wickham's great for us. A real lone striker role, but we need somebody else that can come in and do the same thing, or even put pressure on Wickham to actually challenge for that position. We are really missing Yannick Bolasie. We really are. That outlet out wide. I mean, Zaha can't do it on his own, and to me, he seems like he's playing as a player under pressure to be able to perform, because he hasn't got Yannick to be able to do. Take that pressure off his shoulders and be able to take it in turns to attack the fullbacks, and he's having to switch sides and do it on his own. As I say, Punch has been poor. I won't go on about that. Players sometimes do have a poor run of form, and Punchin's having a as I say, he was good at Southampton, but he's having a terrible run other than that. But Palace are in a terrible run. We can't score a goal. The first goal against for City was another mistake by Hennessy. I mean, I've watched it. He's made the mistake because he's dived over the ball. But for me, the Palace midfield have got to close down Delph. It's a shot from distance, and nobody got in there to try and block that shot. So if they'd have done that, it sounds frustrating, but if they'd have done that, and Hennessy had done his job anyway, you would expect him to save that 9 times out of 10. For me, I mean, he's gone over the ball. And it's another player. We can't afford to have a keeper in bad form. We've got 2 other decent keepers at Palace. Does Pardew think now give another one of them? Give Speroni a shot back in the side, because Hennessy, maybe going for a rough patch. He clearly is. I mean, he's made a couple of big errors now in 2 games, which we played well against City to start with. That first 15 or so minutes, we just didn't, we couldn't score, and then we go and lose that goal through a mistake and through the midfield and defence not shutting it down, and we're under pressure straight away to chase the game, and kind of that's how it panned out. We were chasing the game for the rest of the game. 2-0 became 3-0, then 4-0, and it is it is a bit of a smashing at Manchester City. So it's difficult to know. I'm disappointed. I won't disagree. I won't lie. I expected more from Palace. We need to get out of this rut we're in. It's becoming almost a habit now, not scoring goals. Fresh blood is needed. Pardew's hinted at new players coming in, not in midfield, not in defence. It's going to be attack-minded players. So whether that means just one striker to come in, or whether it's a striker and an attacking midfielder, be interesting to see. But I think the last couple of games have proved that we don't have a strength in depth. But the team today was pretty much our strongest side, other than Bolasie not starting. And to be fair, away from home, Bolasie gives us a fantastic outlet. But we can't go through the season playing well and getting results. I don't think we deserve the 4-0 today, to be fair. Fair play to City. I mean, they're going for the title. We're in a bit of an odd situation at the moment, where we're going through not scoring goals. We face Tottenham at home next week, and like today, I expected a reaction, and the performance was better. But I do expect a bit more reaction against Tottenham at home next week, because the crowd will expect it, Pardew will expect it, and the players themselves will certainly know the last few games haven't been that great. So we have Tottenham and then Stoke in the Cup. So another big couple of games coming up, and they don't seem to change. Let's hope we can turn things around next week. We'll be back here on Palace Fan TV to talk about the games, obviously the results. Join us. Please share the videos as much as you can on social media. Always interested in your comments as well. Let us know about your views on the game underneath this video. And so make sure you subscribe and get your friends to subscribe to Palace Fan TV. It'd be great to have you. And also Palace Fan TV also on Twitter, as you probably know, and Snapchat as well. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again soon. Cheers, bye.